Hi, I'm Pat Brown with the Purdue Alumni Association, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Susie Istock. She is a liberal arts alum. She double majored and double minored, and has worked in the Boston area much of her adult life in financial services related to retirement. So, double major, double minor, studied abroad. I get that you're kind of my guess is a goal setter. Was that true from a young age?
I don't know if I would say that. Maybe it's more that I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did a little bit of everything to kind of help focus my attention and determine, what did I want to be when I grew up.
I'm stuck right there on a thought that
Okay.
we feel so much pressure as young people to know, in eighth grade, what's your career going to be?
Yeah.
And I've kind of meandered a little through careers. I found great joy in the change, in the idea of learning. Is that an experience you share? Is that something that you would help young people understand?
Yeah, that's a great. I don't know if I'd find great joy in change. What I would say is I was undecided when I went to Purdue, and I was not concerned about that. I figured out that I would figure my way through, and I did. And where I ended up was in liberal arts, and that worked really well for me. But I dabbled in lots of other things as well, and you can see as a result of a couple majors and a couple minors and studying abroad, I had some opportunities to test different things that interest me. I, like you do, also, I don't shy away from change. I think there's always an opportunity in a shift. There's always an opportunity to pivot. There's always that opportunity to learn from maybe something you didn't think went as well as you wanted it to, or to try something a little different. So,
Yeah. I was probably 30 the first time I had a boss who told me lovingly that I was making mistakes left and right, and that he wanted to spend all of our time together talking about the mistakes because that's where he could help me. And I remember at the time feeling so conflicted because up to that point, mistakes were terrifying. They were, oh, I've goofed. Do you think that's common for young people? Is that something you experienced? What value is there in mistakes?
well, you know what? I guess I would say I agree with you. Probably all young people feel that way. They want to do the best they can. I think though, as you have a little distance and time and more experience, you grow to look at those opportunities, and you grow to look at them as opportunities where maybe you grew the fastest, the furthest, because you experienced, you went into it with eyes wide open and you thought what you were doing was correct and the best path, but you quickly learned it maybe wasn't, or there was another way to do it. So yeah, I concur. I do. I think we all want to please our elders, right?
Now that I'm the elder, I don't think
Yes.
anybody really cares anymore. Uh, when we're talking about young people, and specifically we're talking to women younger in their career through the International Council of Purdue Women, what's the value in that network, in that colleagues sharing and supporting one another?
Wow. Well, so in that network, I'm relatively new to it. So it's been really astounding for me to see women from all different walks of life. The commonality, of course, is Purdue and our Purdue experience. But how quickly, I participated in a Zoom call a month and a half ago where we did a little happy hour. I had met those women, many of them a month prior, and it was almost like I had known them forever. And how willing they were to help with something or share an idea or make a reference for somebody. And it wasn't that it was, kind of one-on-one. You find in this day and time, you find commonalities. And I think people love commonalities, that, we grew up in the same place, or we studied the same thing, or we're in the same field, or we work for the same, whatever that is. I have found that really people do kind of outreach their hand, if you will, and offer. If you ask, or even if you don't ask, they still offer. So you better grab it and run with it. That's what I found.
Yeah. We're recording this in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, and everything is on the table. Everything is upside down. Everything is normal, and everything is not. What are the experiences and the knowledge you've gained that you have found useful and valuable during this, and how can you confer that to others?
Yeah, wow. Well, my world's changed. I am a person who is active and I travel a lot for my job. for the company for whom I work. I travel a lot personally as well. In fact, I was at Purdue probably about 2 weeks prior to really travel stopping, and so for me personally, the shift has been slowing down, being physically in one place for the first time in a very long time, probably almost dating back to college, where I physically was in one place and focused on really, one thing, which was, my job or my education. So my life has changed quite a bit and the way I do it. So it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to tell you I love it, but I'm adapting. And there are things I'm finding that I like about it. Tell me your question again, Pat.
Just what are some of the things that you do to cope with change? Because there's always change, and there's the change that we bring about, and there's the change that happens to us. Right now, it's the change that happens to us.
Well, I think, the most important thing I think is realizing it, like it's okay. We don't have the answers. And I think that even for me, and I'm more seasoned than someone who's probably 25 and just fresh out of college, is that we haven't been through this before. And so it may look like something that maybe some of us have experienced, but we don't have the answers. And at some level, you just got to go with it. You got to do the best you can. You got to keep on getting on. And again, I found it's interesting in a business environment. I have found customers that I work with, all different types of industries, but all kind of a corporate, large company. I have found the way we interact with each other to be more kind, universally. Not that they were tough before, where it was customer and I work for them, work with them, but work for them. I'm part of the relationship. I've just found that there's a little bit more of personal. How are you doing? How are you coping? Or a little like, what's going on wherever you are? I've got somebody, I have a colleague who works in a marketing role for a large financial institution. She actually, she lives in a 55 plus community. She's not 55, her husband is. And so she's younger and she's living in this world. And she said, she lives in Arizona, and she said, Susie, you would not know there's anything going on right now in this country, given where I am and where I'm living. You would have no idea, the headlines and everything. And so she's very thoughtful about knowing that I live in Boston and knowing that, we've come through been tough on the East Coast. And so she's, always checking in and being thoughtful, and, we get right to work too, but she's always just kind of, sharing stories and making it real and making it human, because at the end of the day, while people do business, it's always better to do business with somebody you understand, know, and hopefully like,
Yes.
So.
Yes. Maya Angelou rings.
Rules are evolving a little bit. I really do.
They are. Maya Angelou just rings in my head with people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I think that this pandemic is demonstrating a lot of that in just little things. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I think, what's interesting to me is even like customers who didn't necessarily want to be vocal, they're now finding themselves using Zoom, using Skype, using whatever the technology of the day is, because we're not sitting at a table together, and we're using it. And it helps. It's not the same. It's not a replacement for, taking a customer to dinner and having a kind of, a conversation with somebody, but it still allows for something. And it still allows for not just the exchange of ideas, but you can even see, someone contemplating. Like if you understand, if you've got that emotional intelligence, and you know that person well enough, you are going to pick up on cues. And I think that's interesting. So it's been nice to see, whereas maybe in the past 6 months ago, a year ago, a customer would have never gotten on this type of technology. They are now, because they understand the value of it. So again, that's a change, and that's across all age groups. That's across all industries.
Yeah, we see that especially with things like this. So much of the Alumni Association's world is getting people in a room together and sending them physical things to read. Well, those are gone in mass. So adaptation becomes a really valuable tool. And I think that's one thing you and I discussed just briefly beforehand we started recording. Youngsters have a great elasticity if they're calm and if they recognize that I can change and I can still be okay. Things can change and I can learn
Yes.
because that's all they've done in their young lives is learn and learn and learn and learn. So um, I don't know if I have a question there, but
Yeah,
you know,
no, I agree with you. I think maybe it's causing all of us to be a little bit more elastic, to use your word,
yeah,
and a little bit more pliable. We're more pliable and we're more open to, I don't know, not just through this type of exchange, but maybe listening a little bit more carefully. I don't know. I guess that's what I hope I'm honing, is that I'm listening and I'm paying attention to a different set of cues from people, and the way, when they won't be on screen, when they are on screen. um I don't know. I'm also, I think the other thing in this pandemic is that you realize every household is being tested in different ways. For example, my household is just me and my husband. I'm not teaching class half my day too. So when I think about my colleagues or my customers that have young kids or have multi-generational households, the fact that they're still able to be human or more human, and that they're still able to conduct business effectively and do all those other things that is now part of their job, that maybe when they went to their office they didn't have to think about it so much. Someone could help them with that. I'm amazed at the enduring, like, I don't know, what people can do. It's quite amazing to
it
me.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I want to give you a softball and the hardest question you'll ever have to answer all in one.
Okay.
What's your best piece of advice for people who are younger than you and I watching this? When you think about change, when you think about adaptation, when you think about loss and stress and strain, what's your best something for them?
Take a breath. First answer is never the best answer, or not usually the best answer. It's just the first answer. And to really think long and hard about how collaboration brings about better solutions, even though it takes more time and it takes lots of, you got to bring people together to make it possible, and you got to get people to concur. It's often something you can't even imagine. So take a breath. Don't just spit out an answer. Think, just take a moment. And I'll tell you, it's been years and I'm still working on that skill. So that's what I would say.
I agree, but I am the one who spits out the first thing that enters my head. I just reflexively do. I've never been the one who liked the uncomfortable silence. And I found out that was a skill when I started being able to sit in a room and I would spit out that answer that wasn't right, but it was a starting place. And when I allowed the group to help me and me to participate in the group and end up somewhere good, I didn't have to own the answer. What I said was a place to start. When you allow others to help paint your picture, you can come up with something really amazing. So, yeah, I like that. And the take a breath is so important.
Yeah, which I rarely do. I often have people say, Susie, take a breath. And it's true. I know, I don't, so yeah. I mean, I think, generations before us have experienced their own type of, and something like this. And others, I hate to say it, will experience something like this again. But this is our moment, this is our time. And I think what's really important is just to really, take it in and realize that it is a moment in time, and we'll get back to some sort of normal. And the spirit of people, whether you're a Purdue grad or not, is that, it's really just handing that opportunity to somebody else and checking back with them and being human. So, I think it's important to be elastic, like you said, and just stay in touch with people.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of honest kindness. Yeah.
True.
Susie, this has been fun. I could talk with you all day. I find you charming and wise. So that's a great combination. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, to the people watching this, if you have comments or questions, please use the tools around this video on the website that you're watching on to express them, and we will see if we can continue the conversation. If you are one of the people who the coronavirus and the separation is causing you real stress, please reach out for help. There are lots of organizations and channels that are willing to help you. And if you have ideas for things that are collaborative online, fun, community building that the Purdue Alumni Association can help with, please let us know. Again, Susie, it has been a pleasure, and I thank you very much for your time and thoughts.
Great to talk with you. Thanks so much.